Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 301, Great Scholar Tai Yi. Which evolution scholar are you exactly? Inside the spatial entrance, there was an open grassland. The breeze blew, causing large grass blades to sway. However, upon closer inspection, one would notice that each blade of grass was composed of extreme spatial force. The moment Lin Yuan entered, countless grass blades shook, and a terrifying spatial storm quickly formed. Lin Yuan's expression darkened. With such an extreme spatial storm, even a typical 7th rank evolver wouldn't survive. It's one of our own. Lin Yuan quickly released the aura of his battlefield pass. The battlefield pass, crafted by 3 goddesses and unimitable by alien races, was a critical proof that one was from the human race. As the aura of the human race battlefield pass spread, the spatial storm, which had almost formed completely, quickly began to dissipate. The next moment, the scenery around him began to change. Lin Yuan found himself on the peak of a mountain. A cold man with long black hair was standing with his back to Lin Yuan, overlooking the scenery below the mountain. Is he the master of this small space? Lin Yuan cautiously sized up the cold man's back, silently pondering. With Lin Yuan's discernment, he could tell that this cold man was merely a remnant force, and his main body must have long been dead, or else he wouldn't have remained here this whole time. 7th rank, 8th rank evolvers with their robust life essence could leave lingering obsessions and power for lengthy years even in death. You must have realized it by now. My main body is long dead. What remains is merely a lingering obsession, the cold man said, still facing away from Lin Yuan. What year of the Starry Sea era is it now? The cold man continued to speak. The Starry Sea era was the standard recording of time for human civilization. Starry Sea era 212,645. Lin Yuan responded immediately. So much time has already passed. The cold man's emotions seemed to fluctuate slightly. My name is Oyin. Since you are from the human race, you should have heard of me, the cold man said after a moment of silence. Oyin. The 8th rank evolver Oyin? A stir went through Lin Yuan's mind. In the spacefaring era, recording information had become incredibly easy. Unless it was confidential information, most of it could be found on the network. And the 8th rank evolver Oyin was a lone evolver who was active around 900,000 years ago during the Starry Sea era. What is a lone evolver? Someone who joins no faction, wanders alone, free and at ease. According to the records of the human civilization in the universe, Oyin was last seen in the southeastern region of the human civilization territory. Unexpectedly, he had come to an alien battlefield and perished here. Battlefield C-24763. Just a small-sized, otherworldly battlefield. Although I, Oyin, am not among the topmost 8th layers, I'm not weak either. However, I never expected that in this alien battlefield, I would encounter Black Abyss ** Qingyu. Oyin chuckled softly, his voice tinged with scorn. Black Abyss * Qingyu? Lin Yuan's expression changed. Those who carry Black Abyss as a surname are generally from absolute nobility within the Heiyuan clan. And Black Abyss * Qingyu, as far as Lin Yuan knew, was currently one of the top 10 figures in the Heiyuan clan. That Black Abyss * Qingyu had already stepped into the 8th layer, adept at soul attacks, and just one strike shattered most of my soul. If it weren't for activating a secret technique to save my life, I wouldn't be able to leave behind this small space, probably couldn't even escape. Oyin said, even if I did escape, I couldn't have lasted too long. I couldn't contact the goddesses on the battlefield, so I could only use the last bit of my strength to create a small space and arrange some measures.
Wu Yin spoke calmly.
Lin Yuan kept silent. Even among 8th-ranked powerful beings there were variances, and that Black Abyss * Qingyu was undoubtedly among the strongest of the 8th layer, far surpassing ordinary 8th-ranked beings. The Qikuan Star-Lord was also almost at the top level among the 8th layer. His main body, the Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan, belonged to the peak cosmic lineage, and as an 8th layer, he should not be much weaker than that Black Abyss * Qingyu. Alright, let's leave these unnecessary topics. Oin chuckled lightly. So many years have passed, and you are the first human to enter this small space. So naturally, all the treasures I left behind belong to you. In my life, I preferred enjoyment. Not many treasures are left. Currently, there is 1 8th layer defensive armor, 1 8th layer soul defense weapon, several weapons of the 7th and 6th layers, 1,000 cubic universe crystals, a special life triple ice wolf bloodline essence potion. And the remaining treasures are of much lower value. You can take a look at them later. Of course, that 8th layer soul defense weapon, severely shattered by a strike from Black Abyss * Qingyu, is priceless even in its severely damaged state, and can easily be traded for several 8th layer weapons of the same level. Lin Yuan held his breath. The treasures mentioned by Oin, even for 8th-ranked powerhouses, were of extreme value, especially that 8th layer soul defense weapon, which was truly priceless. As for the cosmic crystal stones, they were the raw materials used to manufacture cosmic coins, which could directly be used as currency to trade with other powerhouses. 1,000 cubic universe crystals were roughly equivalent to 100 billion cosmic coins. The exchange rate between the cosmic coin and the currency of the Human Civilization Alliance was 1 to 10,000. And the 3-headed ice wolf blood essence potion. The 3-headed ice wolf, a unique life form from the depths of the universe, reached the 4th rank when mature. Its blood essence could easily be integrated into offspring, readily creating a lineage of evolvers with robust bloodlines. Chapter 302. This type of special life's blood essence potion was highly sought after within the human civilization, and once available it was quickly sold out. One could hardly imagine how many 3-headed ice wolves would have to be drained to create such a blood essence potion. These are all yours now. The indifferent man still had his back to Lin Yuan. Thank you, senior. Lin Yuan's expression was solemn as he spoke earnestly. Although it was true that any member of the human race who found this spatial entrance and entered would receive a gift from the indifferent man, Lin Yuan had indeed received a great benefit. I wonder if there's anything you'd like me to do, senior? Lin Yuan attempted cautiously. Anything? The indifferent man was slightly startled. Then he smiled and said, I have been dead for so long. I no longer have old friends, so there's nothing much I need. Boom. At that moment, the small space where Lin Yuan was began to shake. You better leave quickly. This small space is about to collapse. The indifferent man raised his right hand. A streak of flowing light shot out and landed in Lin Yuan's hand. It was a storage bracelet. Inside were many treasures belonging to the indifferent man. Oin. Yes. Lin Yuan took the storage bracelet and immediately flew toward the entrance. The indifferent man, Oin, watched Lin Yuan's departing figure as his body began to crumble quickly. Wangyue Starfield, Tianqin's star. The indifferent man, Oin, murmured softly. Then in the next moment, he completely disintegrated. Qikuan main star. 13 Peaks Great Hall. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. About everything that the radiant young spirit had experienced, Lin Yuan naturally synchronized his knowledge, sharing one consciousness, and could switch perspectives at any time. The battlefields of different races are fraught with danger. Aside from supreme beings, no one can ensure their survival. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The experiences of the 8th layer evolutionist Oin made him cautious. Even a small-sized otherworldly battlefield like battlefield C24763 could cause an 8th layer evolutionist to stumble. But today's human civilization is much better than before. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly emotional. In the era of Oin, the Human Civilization Alliance had difficulties in wars against many different races around them, and in many aspects like foundation and support they seemed somewhat lacking. The most obvious example was that the doppelganger skill was exceedingly rare during that time. Even 8th layer evolutionist Oin had not cultivated a doppelganger. Unlike now, where just the doppelganger skills listed under the red Kuan lineage number over 10. Although cultivating a doppelganger skill requires sacrificing a small portion of the soul, and not every evolver is suitable for cultivating one, it is much stronger than tens of thousands of years ago. Never mind. Let's continue cultivating. After a moment of reflection, Lin Yuan immersed himself once again in contemplating the spatial model. Aside from cultivating, Lin Yuan occasionally connected to the virtual world to interact with other evolvers. The clash of different perspectives and the combination of their against heaven's understanding often unexpectedly helped Lin Yuan. This person's insights might not be inferior to my teacher's. Lin Yuan entered the founder's circle of the virtual world and chatted briefly with a founder named Tai Yi, thinking to himself, Lin Yuan and this Tai met through a post titled, "Is it better to understand one rule deeply or many rules more superficially?" This post, from 23,000 years ago, was left on the founder's forum by the founder Tai Yi. Lin Yuan often communicated with him, faintly feeling that Tai Yi had broad vision. However, Lin Yuan tried, searching the virtual world network, but couldn't find any information related to Tai Yi. While Lin Yuan was pondering, the founder named Tai Yi sent another message. Many evolutionary paths of human civilization. Which stage do you think is the most important? After reading this message, Lin Yuan pondered. From the 1st to 6th ranks of the Martial Tao evolution path and even up to the 7th rank, Lin Yuan was currently deciphering. Plenty of information flashed through his mind. The 7th rank. After thinking it over, Lin Yuan responded. With deeper understanding of more and more basic spatial models, Lin Yuan was gradually perceiving the specific direction of the 7th stage Martial Tao chapter. Once Lin Yuan truly opened the 7th rank chapter, his transformation would far surpass the previous 6 ranks. He should be back soon, right? After replying to Tai Yi, Lin Yuan glanced in the direction of the alien battlefield. According to Lin Yuan's plan, he had sent his radiant yang spirit to the battlefield of the different races to perceive the rules of spatial fluctuations. However, plans always fall behind changes. Lin Yuan intended to stay out of worldly affairs and avoid contact with other species, but instead, he gained the inheritance of an 8th layer evolutionist. Even on a medium-sized otherworldly battlefield, obtaining the inheritance of a treasure belonging to an 8th layer powerhouse was an extremely rare opportunity. Lin Yuan had never considered this possibility because the chances were simply too low. But since it happened, Lin Yuan could only reluctantly accept it. In this situation, leaving that inheritance from the 8th layer evolutionist Oin in the possession of the radiant yang spirit, and then letting the radiant yang spirit stay in the perilous battlefield of different races, Lin Yuan found himself unable to sleep. He would not mind if the radiant yang spirit perished, as it could be reformed in some time. But the loss of the 8th layer evolutionist's treasure, the 8th layer armor, and the soul defense weapon, and 1,000 cubic universe crystals. If these were to be lost along with the fall of the radiant yang spirit, Lin Yuan reckoned it would distress him for a long time. So right after the radiant yang spirit left that small space, Lin Yuan instructed him to hurry back, deposit the many treasures with him, and then continue to the alien battlefield. Chapter 303. After all, it's just a matter of over a month's time. Lin Yuan could afford the delay. At a far and remote location, there stood a huge research planet. Great scholar Tai Yi watched the complicated characters flashing quickly on the screen in front of him. A moment later, a trace of fatigue appeared on the face of great scholar Tai Yi. Let's see if that question has been answered. Deciding to take a break, great scholar Tai Yi entered the founder circle of the virtual world and opened his chat list with Lin Yuan. 7th rank. Seeing Lin Yuan's reply brought a smile to the face of great scholar Tai Yi. Ha ha ha. This time you must be mistaken. Among the multiple evolutionary paths of human civilization, the most crucial stage is undoubtedly the 8th layer. To step into the 8th layer, One must master the technique of world opening, create a world within oneself. With a world as the foundation, one can continue to ascend. Otherwise, it is very difficult to take even one step further with the flesh alone. Great scholar Tai wore a proud but somewhat puzzled expression. He remembered that Lin Yuan should have mastered the rudimentary form of the world-opening technique, that perspective of governing myriad paths with a single path. Its core was the world-opening technique. So, even if unaware of the world-opening technique, one should understand the vast difference between the 8th and 7th rank. How could he still think the 7th rank is the most important? It shouldn't be, should it? How could such a mistake be made? Great scholar Tai stroked his chin. Why the 7th rank? After some thought, great scholar Tai didn't immediately mock Lin Yuan. Instead, he sent a message asking for clarification. On Chikuan Main Star, just as Lin Yuan was preparing to continue his cultivation, he received another question from the Tai founder. Why the 7th rank? Lin Yuan blinked. He believed the 7th rank to be the most important based entirely on the martial Tao evolution path. Because in Lin Yuan's concept with Taiyin, Taiyang, Taiji, and the space rules, the 7th rank chapter he would create was expected to undergo the greatest transformation. With the enhancement of the space rules, the Taiji domain would evolve into the Taiji minor world. That was why Lin Yuan thought the 7th rank as the most important. To contain myriad paths within a certain path, command myriad paths, integrating with the space rules. Lin Yuan shared some of the theories of the martial Tao evolution path 7th rank chapter quite casually. These theories, which Lin Yuan had realized these past days, were meaningless to others, even if revealed. Without Lin Yuan's foundational research, it would be difficult for outsiders to delve into these theories. At a far and remote location, there stood a huge research planet. Great scholar Tai patiently waited, staring at the conversation. He decided that no matter what answer Lin Yuan provided later, he would counter with the technique of world opening to demonstrate the unquestionable importance of the 8th layer. Ding! The message arrived. Great scholar Tai looked at it immediately. This? Great scholar Tai was somewhat stunned. All the arguments he had prepared to respond with were suddenly withheld. Because the message Lin Yuan sent him was a kind of the world-opening technique. However, how could one use the world-opening technique at the 7th rank? Great scholar Tai couldn't believe it. Almost in an instant, great scholar Tai began to calculate. Countless characters flickered before his eyes, attempting to prove the possibility of success, based on the theories sent by Lin Yuan. More than an hour later, great scholar Tai closed his eyes. A long time afterward, great scholar Tai finally opened his eyes. It does indeed seem likely to succeed. His thoughts collected and his expression solemn. Great scholar Tai replied in the chat box with Lin Yuan. Who exactly are you? Which evolutionary scholar? Chapter 304. Net worth skyrockets. 7th rank evolvers who wish to ascend to 8th rank evolvers find that the method of opening the world is crucial. It refers to creating an inner world within oneself, which is one of the prerequisites for a breakthrough to the 8th layer. Here, the inner world is not some minor space, but a real world in which life can flourish and pass down its heritage. Consider this. The physical bodies of human evolvers, when compared with those special life forms lurking deep within the cosmic starry skies that rival planets in size, are indeed too weak. For example, a starry sky wanderer Kuan, which can reach 6th rank at adulthood and devours planets as its food. A 6th rank human evolver is just as tasty a morsel in front of an adult starry sky wanderer Kuan. To not flee is to die. This is the great disparity brought by factors like physical capability, bloodline, species, and others. Under similar rank conditions, these special life forms are almost invincible. However, by the 8th layer, the gap between human evolvers and those special beings rapidly narrows and might even turn into an advantage for humans. The fundamental reason lies in the inner world opened up by the method of opening the world. With a world to support them, even if this world is not large, the full power of a complete world still lets the human evolvers attain an astonishing level of depth. To open the world and create an inner world, One must at least be at the 7th rank peak to hope to attempt it. It can only fully take shape at the 8th layer. However, from the information sent by Lin Yuan, great scholar Tai saw the possibility of a 7th rank evolver, opening the world. This is truly, from the perspective of great scholar Tai, it was clear that Lin Yuan's theory came with many limitations and conditions. For instance, it required understanding all the space-based models at the 6th rank, and the Dao one controlled had to be perfect, and so on. Such a method was destined to be exclusive. Most ordinary evolvers simply didn't possess the insight. Only the true peak geniuses of humanity could hope to attempt this direction. Nonetheless, the theories proposed by Lin Yuan, compared with those conceived by human evolutionary scholars of the past about creating an inner world before the 8th layer, had a possible chance of realization. The evolutionary scholars of the past did indeed research methods to create an inner world before an 8th layer breakthrough, but there were many more conditions, often requiring the assistance of rare cosmic treasures. For example, one method involved consuming a world fruit at the 7th rank and then refining it with special techniques. But world fruits, how precious are they? To use them to open an inner world for a 7th rank evolver? Such a waste. Which evolutionary scholar? On Chikuan main star, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, staring at the message replied by Tai the founder, momentarily lost in thought. Evolutionary scholar, Lin Yuan did know that this was a treasure of human civilization. But to become an evolutionary scholar, strength was secondary. The key was to create a stable, complete, novel 8th layer evolutionary system. Over millions of years in the Chikuan star domain, only 3 evolutionary scholars were born, and these scholars had long since headed to the central star domain of human civilization. Is it because of those concepts I spoke of? Lin Yuan thought to himself, recalling the 7th stage martial Tao chapter concepts he shared with Tai, the founder, which involved using Taiji and spatial rules to open a small world. However, this idea was only suitable for Lin Yuan. So far, only Lin Yuan managed to achieve it. Not to say anything about others, just fully understanding the basic spatial model at the 6th rank would be enough to block almost all evolvers. Of course, in Lin Yuan's vision, the 7th stage martial Tao contains many cultivation directions. To comprehend the space rules was just one of them. Other martial arts evolvers, upon reaching the peak of 6th rank, if they cannot comprehend the space rules, may focus on the rules they excel at. But without the space rules, they cannot create an inner world at the 7th rank. This was, after all, a trade-off, and Lin Yuan had no intention of noting in the 7th rank chapter that understanding the fundamental space model could lead to an early opening the world. It would cause other martial Tao evolvers to forcibly try to comprehend space rules at 6th rank, in pursuit of opening the world. I am not an evolutionary scholar, Lin Yuan replied. The martial path evolutionary path hasn't even begun to open a 7th rank chapter to this day, let alone commence an 8th layer part. Not an evolutionary scholar? Great scholar Tai frowned. He also felt that Lin Yuan wasn't an evolutionary scholar, and had sensed it during their previous conversation. But, if you're not an evolutionary scholar, how could you develop a direction and concept for 7th rankers to open an inner world? It wasn't that the great scholar Tai looked down on evolvers below the evolutionary scholars. But without reaching that level, how could one have the soul power and computational ability to deduce such concepts? Could it be that such a genius truly exists in this world? For a moment, great scholar Tai felt somewhat disinterested. Since he entered the evolutionary path, he was considered a genius among countless evolvers. The favoritism from the upper echelons of human civilization, the affections of the 3 goddesses, and more made great scholar Tai very confident. But seeing Lin Yuan, great scholar Tai suddenly thought that he might be getting old. Chikuan main star. Lin Yuan's expression turned reflective. Could it be that this founder Tai is an evolutionary scholar? Lin Yuan pondered in his heart. The number of evolutionary scholars is extremely scant, far fewer than 8th rank evolvers. Within the circle of virtual world founders, they were all certainly founders of an evolutionary path. But how many of them could actually develop a complete 8th rank evolutionary path? Chapter 305. This would be hundreds to thousands of times more difficult than cultivating to the 8th layer. Space rules. Lin Yuan continued to comprehend the space rules. It must be said that the spatial fluctuations on the battlefields of different races greatly reduced the difficulty for Lin Yuan to comprehend the space rules. Simply put, if it were on Chikuan main star, Lin Yuan's comprehension of space rules would be like someone with 800-degree nearsightedness trying to view the scenery. Then, on the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan's vision in degrees would drop to 700, 600. It would visibly become clearer. Has the Yang spirit already entered the Chikuan star domain? Lin Yuan's expression slightly changed as he looked in a certain direction. Whether it was the Yin spirit or Yang spirit, both were parts of Lin Yuan's soul. Even if separated by vast distances, he could still sense their locations. The Yin spirit has also entered the battlefields of different races. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. To avoid wasting time comprehending the space rules, Lin Yuan had the Yin spirit go to the battlefields of different races before the Yang spirit brought back the legacy of the 8th layer evolutionist Oyin. Thus, although still wasting some time, it was much better than having the Yang spirit travel back and forth. After all, since the original Yin spirit and Yang spirit share the same consciousness, no matter who was on the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan could synchronize perspectives, making no difference. After finishing his cultivation, Lin Yuan connected to the virtual world and arrived at the Kanglin Star virtual world. Xiao Yuan, his mother, Lu Qiong, saw Lin Yuan and immediately smiled in greeting. Lin Yuan nodded. His father Lin Shouqing was also nearby, chiming in with a few words from time to time. You really don't plan to come to the main star? Lin Yuan asked again for confirmation. Since Lin Yuan had revealed his identity and was infused into the 13 peaks of the Chikuan main star, he had asked his parents if they would like to move to Chikuan main star. After all, from any perspective, Chikuan main star absolutely surpassed Kanglin star. One was an ordinary middle-grade life planet, while the other was the most prosperous and thriving main star of a star domain. There was no comparison at all. And for his parents moving to the Chikuan main star, there was no scenario of starting from scratch, where they had high status on Kanglin star but fell greatly upon moving to the main star. Merely with the identities of parents of the 13 Peaks Master, Lin Shouqing and Lu Qiong, even on Chikuan main star would be highly respected even by the 6th rank fallen star warriors. Xiao Yuan. Let it be. We've been on Kanglin star since we were young, and we're used to it, Lin Shouqing said with a smile. Although Kanglin star is backward, it's our home planet. Now being able to live in the most upscale manner in the central mainland, your mother and I are very satisfied. Yes, Xiao Yuan. Go about your own affairs. Don't let us hold you back. Lu Qiong added from the side. Upon hearing this, Lin Yuan fell silent for a moment and did not press further. His parents were the type of people who preferred to live in peace in a corner. Kanglin star had everything they were familiar with, a sun, 12 planets, and so on, to which they were already accustomed. That's fine. If you have any issues, just speak to Ho Ming, Lin Yuan said after a thought. Ho Ming was indeed Lin Yuan's captain of the guard troops, a 6th rank fallen star warrior. When Lin Yuan went to Chikuan main star, he specifically left Ho Ming behind. In addition, the guard troops of the Dawn Association's president were also protecting his parents. It could be said that the current security forces for his parents were very sufficient, even surpassing that of the Kanglin star governor. Xiao Yuan, don't worry too much, we have the virtual world. If we want to see you, we can at any time. Lu Qiong continued. Right? Lin Shouqing nodded. With the virtual world, many things became simple. Even if separated by dozens of star domains, meeting wasn't difficult. After chatting with his parents for a while, Lin Yuan exited the virtual world. I'm back. Lin Yuan stepped out of the Great Hall. At this moment, a pitch-black spacecraft was slowly descending. Whoosh! Streams of the power of Taiyang silently appeared and finally merged into Lin Yuan's body. It was Lin Yuan's Taiyang divine spirit. This time, sending the Taiyang divine spirit to the battlefields of different races, The greatest gain was not the enhanced perception of the spatial model, but acquiring the entire legacy of an eighth-layer evolutionist. Returning to the Great Hall, Lin Yuan's mind stirred slightly. A silver-white bracelet appeared. This silver-white bracelet, primitive in design, differed in aesthetic from the current human civilization's space equipment. It was indeed the storage bracelet of the eighth-layer evolutionist Oin. Although I am one of the 13 Peaks Masters of the Red Kuan lineage, exalted in status, I didn't possess much wealth. Now that has been rectified. Lin Yuan's spirit was pleased. Even as a disciple of the Chikuan Star Lord, he could not just magically receive an abundance of treasures and riches, at most some life-saving items. Previously, Heyu was planning to lure Lin Yuan out with a precious treasure, confident that this peak master must be lacking in valuable resources. This was very normal. For most evolvers to acquire a vast wealth, it's usually through years of accumulation. As for the revenue division from the martial path evolutionary path that Lin Yuan established, not much time had passed. This kind of income was more steady rather than a sudden windfall. This space bracelet is indeed a rare treasure. Lin Yuan closely examined the silver-white bracelet, his expression one of admiration. Even among spatial storage treasures, there are varying levels. Some with minimal internal space incapable of holding life, while some spatial storage treasures boast vast and extremely stable spaces, not prone to fluctuations. This silver-white bracelet was clearly among the latter. 8th rank armor. Lin Yuan quickly refined the silver-white bracelet and pulled out a cyan-colored armor. This armor, nearly 1 meter in size, was engraved with mysterious patterns. As soon as Lin Yuan took it out, it floated in the air, faintly emitting a certain profound aura. 8th rank defensive weapons O. This is surely a life-saving item. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Wearing this 8th rank armor, he could withstand all physical attacks below the 8th layer. As for attacks at the 8th layer level, it could weaken most of them. From this, it can be seen that what 8th layer evolutionist Oin valued the most was defense, preserving life. After all, from the legacy he left behind, no 8th rank offensive treasures were found. They might have been lost. This armor could be kept for personal use or sold. 8th rank armor is not limited to being worn only by 8th rank evolvers. 7th rank, 6th rank could wear it too, but only 8th rank evolvers could fully unlock the defensive capabilities of the 8th rank armor. Some 7th rank, 6th rank weapons. Lin Yuan once again took out 7 or 8 weapons from the silver-white bracelet. These weapons must have been occasionally obtained by 8th layer evolutionist Oin. And 1,000 cubic universe crystals. Lin Yuan flipped his hand and took out a cubic universe crystal, a fist-sized crystal jade, with incredibly pure cosmic energy flowing inside. A cubic universe crystal is equivalent to 100 million universe coins, equivalent to 1 trillion human civilization coins. Lin Yuan was astounded. Civilization coins are just the internal trading currency of human civilization. 7th and 8th layer evolvers mostly use universe coins for transactions, and not limited to within the human race. Therefore, universe coins are the hard currency accepted for transactions by the 10,000 universe races. The reason being that universe coins contain extremely high-grade cosmic energy. This quality of cosmic energy can meet the consumptive needs of the 7th rank, 8th rank, or even stronger beings in combat, relying on slowly absorbing cosmic energy to recover. Too slow, the enemy will not foolishly wait for your recovery. Extracting the energy inside a universe coin is much more convenient, precisely because universe coins have an irreplaceable role for higher-rank strong ones. They became a universally accepted trading currency among many races, because the universe coins themselves possess extremely high value. Much purer than the energy in red spirit fluid. Lin Yuan compared inwardly, then focused his attention on the last treasure within the silver-white bracelet. This treasure was the most valuable of all the treasures. Even if the 8th rank armor, 7th rank, and 6th rank weapons, 1,000 cubic universe crystals were combined, they still couldn't match up to this treasure. Chapter 306. Space rift in the main world, the door to the myriad realms trembles. 8th Layer Soul Defense Treasure. Lin Yuan's eyes were slightly fervent. Among all treasures, soul defense treasures were definitely the most precious kind. The soul carries the life's consciousness and true spirit. For a high-rank evolver, the destruction of the physical body doesn't equate to death. But if the soul has issues, it directly affects the consciousness and true spirit. Among the many treasures left by Oyin, the most precious was undoubtedly this one. In fact, Lin Yuan had come across a soul defense treasure before, one of the prizes for the champion of the Kanglan Star tournament. However, that soul defense treasure was only 3rd or 4th rank, not on the same level as the 8th layer soul defense treasure left by Oyin. Is it shaped like a water droplet? Lin Yuan took out that soul defense treasure. It was a sky blue droplet the size of a thumb, and upon closer inspection, one could see faint cracks on the surface of the droplet. 8th layer evolutionist Oyin had armor to defend his physical body, and this 8th layer droplet to guard his soul. But he still died under a soul attack from the Black Abyss * Qingyu. Even this soul droplet was nearly penetrated. Lin Yuan thought to himself, while soul defense treasures can protect the soul, it doesn't mean they are infallible. Even an 8th layer soul defense treasure has its protective limits. If an attack surpasses this limit, the soul will be pierced through the treasure, attacking the soul directly. The Black Abyss * Qingyu had the power to break through the protection of an 8th layer soul defense treasure at the 8th layer? Lin Yuan pondered. An 8th layer soul defense treasure is given this prefix because it can resist the majority of soul attacks at the 8th layer level. Those from different species. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In the wars between the Human Civilization Alliance and different species, humans have the upper hand, but this advantage is just that, merely an advantage. There are still many strong humans who die. Black Abyss * Qingyu was just one member of the formidable Heiyuan clan. If it were on the battlefields where humans are fighting against the insect race and other peak clans, the casualties on the human side would only be greater. This droplet is damaged. Lin Yuan touched the sky blue droplet. Despite the damage, it was still an 8th layer soul defense treasure. If Lin Yuan wished, he could easily trade it for 4 or 5 pieces of 8th layer armor or similar weapons. Most of Oyin's wealth must have been spent on this defensive droplet. Find time to ask my mentor to see if it can be repaired. Lin Yuan thought to himself, since it was broken, naturally it could be repaired. But fixing an 8th layer soul defense treasure could only be possible if the Chikuan Starlord had a way. As for the risk of exposing that he had obtained Oyin's legacy, what if it was exposed? Oyin had been dead for over 1,000,000 years and was a lone evolver. As a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, who would dare to object? Chikuan Starlord, his mentor, was a strong figure from 1,000,000 years ago, on par with Black Abyss * Qingyu. He probably wouldn't be interested in a broken soul droplet. Special Life Bloodline Essence Potion. Lin Yuan took out a transparent test tube with a viscous purple liquid inside. This kind of special life bloodline elixir didn't serve much purpose to individual evolvers. Its greatest effect was to implant the essence into the lineage of offspring. This would then form a strong evolver family. Such a family would be much more powerful than the legacies left by 6th rank Fallen Star warriors. This special life bloodline essence was purer, increasing both the probability and potential upper limits of awakening bloodlines in progeny. In the future, I could also use this bloodline evolution elixir to create a powerful evolver family as a force to cultivate. Lin Yuan had a plan. Whether or not he decided to create his own evolver family, if Lin Yuan wished to sell it, he could do so at any time. After all, special lives are rare, and this bloodline essence potion, formed from countless special lives, will only become scarcer over time. In addition to the wealth and treasures inherited from 8th layer evolutionist Oyin, Lin Yuan had also gathered quite a bit from killing those Heiyuan clan powerhouses. But compared to Oyin, they were naturally far inferior. Those Heiyuan clan members who dared to join the battlefield most likely left their main wealth and treasures at home. The treasures they carried with them were not much, mostly just the weapons and equipment needed for battle. Upload the battle kill video. Lin Yuan directly uploaded the video of him killing those 5 Heiyuan clan powerhouses to the Goddess of Freedom. This was an important piece of evidence for the goddess of freedom to decide whether to grant merit points. The video recording function is unique to the three goddesses. Outsiders cannot fake it or alter it. And because the perspective of the video includes oneself, the possibility of killing fellow evolvers from the same species, seizing their video, and pretending it shows one's own kill is eliminated. Drip. Video authenticity confirmed. Facts confirmed. Upon evaluation, valued at 5,000 merit points. The voice of the goddess of freedom, imbued with cold murderous intent, resounded. 5,000 merit points. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. 5,000 merit points may seem like a lot, but it's not even enough to upgrade from a level 1 citizen to a level 3 citizen. It takes 1,000 merit points to go from level 1 to level 2, and 5,000 merit points from level 2 to level 3. But these 5,000 merit points require the killing of 5 sixth-layer different species members. What concept is a sixth-layer different species member? They are fallen star warriors, and this time it was 6 at once. It's still more worthwhile to focus on researching the evolution path. Lin Yuan thought to himself that while killing these 5 members of the Heiyuan clan went smoothly, doing it too frequently would cause problems. Chapter 307. He who often walks by the river may eventually get his shoes wet. If Lin Yuan were greedy for this way of earning merit points, sooner or later, he'd run into big trouble. Battlefield C24763. Lin Yuan's god rode on a spaceship, swiftly advancing in a certain direction. Wonderful fluctuations of space. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, reveling in the continuously fluctuating spatial forces around him, his mind exceptionally pleased. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. The Taiyin primordial spirit shared consciousness with Lin Yuan and naturally possessed against heaven's understanding. At this moment, entering the battlefield of different races, it was deepening its understanding and feeling of the space rules almost every moment. So far, I haven't encountered any different species. Lin Yuan glanced around and shook his head slightly. This was the norm for the alien battlefield, except during certain special periods. Most of the time, you wouldn't encounter any different species. If one wanted to find different species, they should head to the center of the battlefield, where armies of strong individuals from both the human race and the Heiyuan clan were gathered, and wars could break out at any moment. Like Lin Yuan who, not long after entering the battlefield, had encountered several strong members of the Heiyuan clan, and had also obtained the inheritance of a human race 8th rank evolver. That was not normal. It could already be considered a huge stroke of luck. That should be the location of the permanent spatial rift in this battlefield. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted, looking in a certain direction. He faintly sensed that there were extremely violent spatial forces surging over there. The main world is almost perfect, its space is solid, nearly indestructible. Even if I forcibly tear open the space using my comprehension of spatial laws, the rift would heal very quickly. As for the formation of a permanent spatial rift, Lin Yuan was somewhat unable to understand the reasons behind the formation of the eternal spatial rift, attributing it to the might of supreme beings being too powerful. According to the information next to that permanent spatial rift, there are strong members of both the human race and the Heiyuan clan guarding it, and one must have the approval of either the human race or the Heiyuan clan to approach and comprehend it. This wasn't a problem for Lin Yuan. When the time came, he only needed to reveal his human race identity to get through. In fact, many evolvers entering the battlefield of different races did so with the goal of comprehending the space rules, and the same was true for the Heiyuan clan. Most strong individuals did not have the terrifying comprehension abilities like Lin Yuan, and they couldn't break through just by closing up in meditation. They could only rely on entering such dangerous places to try to advance further. Chikuin main star. Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. In front of him, wisps of spatial power emerged, constantly converging and intertwining, forming a mysterious spatial model. Time passed unknowably. A tower-shaped spatial model was completed, and in an instant, with the tower as the center, the space all around suddenly became stable. The 938th type of spatial model. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, a smile on his face. Among the 965 basic spatial models, each type of spatial model has its special use. For example, the tower-shaped spatial model that Lin Yuan had just condensed is capable of suppressing space. If the spatial model is applied and comprehended to the extreme, one could solidify the space within a billion miles with a wave of the hand, prohibiting the use of many spatial powers such as instant movement. There are still 27 basic spatial models left. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred, and the tower-shaped spatial model in front of him dispersed, and the space around him immediately returned to normal. In at most a month, I will be able to completely comprehend the basic spatial models. By then, nothing will hinder the opening of the 7th stage martial Tao chapter, and I can fully step into the 7th rank. Lin Yuan was quite satisfied. Of course, the reason he could comprehend at such a rapid speed was mainly because of the Taiyin primordial spirit being in the alien battlefield, granting him an equivalent comprehension of space. This allowed Lin Yuan to significantly advance the pace at which he comprehended the 965 types of basic spatial models. 7th stage martial Tao. Lin Yuan looked forward to it greatly, imagining the importance of this phase. Creating his own inner world was the foundation, and according to Lin Yuan's comprehension of other evolution paths, to open an inner world, one needs at least to be in the period of breaking through from the 7th rank to the 8th layer. As for opening an inner world between the 6th rank and 7th rank, throughout the 2+ million years of the Starry Sea era, there have been very few specific cases, each one an unreplicable stroke of great fortune. Battlefield C24763. We've arrived. Lin Yuan stopped the spaceship. Not far off, there was a mountain range floating in the air, snaking tens of thousands of miles, emitting terrifying waves of energy. As Lin Yuan approached, he actively released the aura of his battlefield pass. It wasn't long before a tall man clad in black armor flew down. "Brother, what brings you to this battlefield?" he asked warmly. The armored man approached, seeming quite friendly. Since Lin Yuan could release the aura of the battlefield pass, it proved that he belonged to the human race. Different species had no means to imitate the aura of the battlefield pass, not even those peak clans could do it. "Are you planning to head to the center of the battlefield, to have a good fight with those despicable members of the Heiyuan clan?" The armored man looked at Lin Yuan excitedly. "Don't worry, follow behind me when the great battle erupts. You definitely won't encounter any problems." Most of the human evolvers who come to the battlefields of different races aim to fight against different species on the battlefield. The benefits are too many: killing a member of a different species, gaining the treasures on their person, as well as merit points determined by the goddess of freedom. As for comprehending space rules, that's mostly just incidental. No, I'm preparing to head to that permanent spatial rift to comprehend the space rules. Lin Yuan immediately shared his objective. Clearly, the armored man was keen on slaying different species and was now thinking of roping Lin Yuan into his group. "I see." An obvious look of disappointment crossed the man's face. "Then come with me." The armored man turned and flew towards the floating mountain range behind him. Lin Yuan immediately followed. Soon, the two entered the hovering mountain range. Next to the permanent spatial rift, half of it is occupied by the Heiyuan clan. You need to be cautious when you comprehend there. Don't get too engrossed. The armored man cautioned. On the alien battlefield, the encounters between the human race and the Heiyuan clan still retain sanity. There were some areas by default where fighting was not allowed. One of these areas was around that permanent spatial rift. Both human race evolvers and Heiyuan clan powerhouses who went there did so to comprehend space rules. Therefore, for tens of thousands of years, both sides by default forbid initiating conflict in that area. Those wishing to engage in battle should go to the central battlefield, where a large number of powerhouses from both clans congregate. You can fight to your heart's content there. But this was only an unwritten rule. It wasn't unbreakable. If you truly regarded that area as a safe zone, You would truly be foolish. That's why the armored man gave such a warning. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded. He had made sufficient preparations before coming here. Good. Follow me. The armored man led Lin Yuan to a teleportation area. From here, one could immediately reach the side of that permanent spatial rift. Teleportation began. Lin Yuan felt a violent fluctuation of spatial forces all around him. By the time things started to settle down, he had already arrived at another location. Over there. Lin Yuan looked up and saw a pitch-black crack, not too far away. It was filled with a murky gas, vast amounts of space force churned, along with space rules constantly fluctuating. This is the permanent spatial rift in this space battlefield. The armored man also looked over and explained in a low voice. This permanent spatial rift was caused by the human evolvers wielding supreme weapons, so it's not very large. However, in large alien battlefields, where supreme beings personally tear open permanent spatial rifts, they can reach tens of thousands of miles, hundreds of millions of miles, and even billions of miles wide. It's said that such vast spatial rifts often have traces of visitors from other worlds, and they are extremely dangerous. While introducing, the armored man marveled. However, there were things the armored man didn't know. At this very moment, Lin Yuan's heart was not calm, because when he looked at that permanent spatial rift not far away, which was only over 10 meters wide, in the depths of his mind, the towering, magnificent door to the myriad realms slightly trembled. Chapter 308, Perfect Seventh Stage, My Tao is Complete. Door to the Myriad Realms. Lin Yuan's expression inevitably became solemn. The door to the myriad realms deep in his mind was not a physical entity. It was but a strand of projection of the true door to the myriad realms, bound to Lin Yuan's true self and consciousness. Thus, whether it was Lin Yuan himself or the Yin spirit and Yang spirit, they all could see the door to the myriad realms, because they shared one consciousness. Similarly, when Lin Yuan traveled through worlds, whenever his consciousness descended into other worlds, the projection of the door to the myriad realms would appear in the mind of the vessel of Lin Yuan's consciousness descent. After breaking through to the 6th rank, Lin Yuan obtained much information from within the door to the myriad realms, including the fact that the physical body of the door to the myriad realms was located in some mysterious place. With Lin Yuan's current strength, he simply couldn't withstand the true door to the myriad realms. However, even if it was just an insignificant projection of the door to the myriad realms, it had a sense of being almost eternal and unchangeable, hard for external forces to affect. Yet now, the door to the myriad realms deep within Lin Yuan's mind was actually trembling slightly. What's the reason? Lin Yuan's thoughts fluctuated. Because of this permanent spatial rift? Lin Yuan's gaze once again turned to the nearby spatial rift, more than 10 meters in size, from which a gray foggy gas was emanating. The changes in the door to the myriad realms started from the moment Lin Yuan saw this spatial rift. As Lin Yuan pondered, a surge of information flowed out from the door to the myriad realms. He quickly received it. The speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulates world-breaking origin force has increased? Lin Yuan was startled. Ever since he became aware of the door to the myriad realms, the speed at which it accumulated world-breaking origin force had never changed. 333 days for one strand of world-breaking origin force. And it didn't accelerate with the increase of Lin Yuan's strength. But now, the speed at which the door to the myriad realms now accumulates world-breaking origin force has increased to once every 310 days? Lin Yuan once again looked toward the spatial rift not far away. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan's expression showed that he was deep in thought. What was world-breaking origin force? Lin Yuan never fully understood before, only feeling that the energy needed by the door to the myriad realms was something he had never heard of. Now it seems it's related to the shattering of the world. This shattering is fundamental, irreversible. If it were just a spatial shatter, then during his 5th traversal, in the immortal Tao world, Lin Yuan spent his last decades breaking through space, drifting among the chaos of the void. Logically, the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force should have increased. But in reality it did not. A great opportunity. This is my great opportunity. Lin Yuan was overjoyed in his heart, after understanding the reason behind the door to the myriad realms tremor, and realizing what kind of impact this would have on himself. Is world-breaking origin force important? Most certainly, it's the power source for the door to the myriad realms. In a sense, as long as there's enough world-breaking origin force, Lin Yuan can use the door to the myriad realms to go to any world he wishes. And he can bring back countless treasures from otherworldly realms without anyone being the wiser. Isn't that an inconceivably powerful ability? If I get closer, will the speed at which world-breaking origin force accumulates increase? Lin Yuan converged his thoughts and pondered in secret. From his current position, he wasn't far from that spatial rift, but he wasn't close either. All right. In this kind of place, it's best to be careful with everything. The armored man had roughly finished introducing things to Lin Yuan and turned to leave. Lin Yuan stood there for a while, then cautiously moved closer to the spatial rift. A treasure trove. This battlefield of different races is simply my treasure trove. On Chikuin Main Star, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, feeling the door to the myriad realms deep within his mind, with an increased speed of accumulating world-breaking origin force. His mood was extraordinarily happy. Battlefields of different races were riddled with dangers, where human evolvers were at constant risk of falling. The powerful 8th layer evolutionist Oin, wasn't he still defeated in such a small-sized otherworldly battlefield? But as for Lin Yuan, these battlefields of different races were simply treasure lands, places of blessing. Ever since he sent his primordial spirit to the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan had been reaping benefits constantly. First was his understanding of space rules. The spatial fluctuations in the battlefields of different races were obvious, making it relatively easier to comprehend space rules. Now, Lin Yuan was close to penetrating more than 900 of the basic spatial models. Secondly, he acquired the legacy of an 8th layer evolutionist. Those treasures, even if they might not compare to Chikuin's Starlord, were definitely beyond those amassed by the old 7th rank peak evolvers who had been accumulating for tens of thousands of years. Especially that shattered soul defense droplet, which would stir the heart of ordinary 8th layer evolvers. The spatial fluctuations are becoming ever clearer. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his perspective shared. As the Tai-In primordial spirit approached the spatial rift, bursts of spiritual light constantly emerged. Your perception is heaven-defying. Approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Your perception is heaven-defying. Approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Your perception is heaven-defying. Approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Rustle, rustle. Lin Yuan raised his hand. Threads of spatial power coiled around it. In an instant, the 951st spatial model took shape. Marvelous. Too marvelous. So space can be manipulated like this? Lin Yuan lifted his hands, constantly playing with the spatial power, influencing the surrounding space. At this moment, in Lin Yuan's field of vision, space seemed like flowing water, and his every move could create ripples in this flow. The ripples spread out, extending tens of thousands or even millions of miles away, constantly colliding and interweaving, eventually stirring up a spatial storm. And this, Chapter 309. It was merely because Lin Yuan had slightly manipulated the force of space. This is the place, he said, near the permanent spatial rift on the battlefield of different races. Lin Yuan ceased any further approach. Through constant trial just now, he had found this spot which could significantly increase the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force. Any further and the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force would not increase. And being too close to the spatial rift, the surging spatial force would affect his own comprehension. Now the accumulation speed of the door to the myriad realms is Lin Yuan closed his eyes and felt it deeply for a moment. Approximately 298 days to accumulate a strand of world-breaking origin force. Lin Yuan's eyes shone. Compared to the initial 333 days. 298 days for a strand of world-breaking origin force had already improved the accumulation speed by 10 to 20%. In the short term, this extra speed might not be of great use. But if you look at it over an extended period, it would be a considerable amount of world-breaking origin force income. With Lin Yuan's strength, living tens of thousands to millions of years was easy, and over such a lengthy timeline, the increased accumulation speed would form a substantial advantage like a snowball effect. Moreover, this increase in the accumulation speed of the door to the myriad realms world-breaking origin force. The biggest impact on Lin Yuan was not the 10 to 20% increase in speed. But it allowed Lin Yuan to see a second method of obtaining world-breaking origin force. Before coming to the battlefield of different races, Lin Yuan had thought that world-breaking origin force could only be accumulated slowly at a pace of one strand every 333 days. But now, Lin Yuan knew that this permanent spatial rift could enhance the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force. From this, he deduced a conclusion. If Lin Yuan went to a larger permanent spatial rift, would the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force continue to increase? The current rift was merely 10 meters long, but those medium and large alien battlefields had permanent spatial rifts that might span thousands of miles, even millions of miles. Near such spatial rifts, could the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force surge dramatically? No rush for now, he said. Let's wait until stepping into the 7th rank. Lin Yuan steadied his body, and accompanying his proximity to the permanent spatial rift, his comprehension of space rules was increasing at a terrifying speed. Almost every half-day or so, he could fully comprehend one kind of basic spatial model. Based on the current rate of comprehending space rules, in 5 to 6 days at most, he would have fully comprehended 965 kinds of basic spatial models. Then, Lin Yuan would be able to step into the 7th rank. This 7th rank was not the ordinary sense of 7th rank. If it were just an ordinary 7th rank, Lin Yuan would already have been at that rank back in the immortal Tao world. But Lin Yuan was somewhat dissatisfied with that kind of 7th rank, so he had been dragging it out until now. The 7th rank Lin Yuan wanted to step into was one that perfectly matched martial Tao, the perfect 7th rank. Time passed. Before long, 7 days had gone by. On Chikuan Main Star, in the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Silently, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. Strands of spatial force emerged. They quickly converged into a kind of inverted pyramid spatial model. As this spatial model formed, Lin Yuan's understanding of space suddenly took on a certain completeness. 965 kinds of spatial models. Lin Yuan's eyes lowered, he muttered to himself, all thoroughly comprehended. At this moment, his surroundings, in Lin Yuan's eyes, almost had a translucent feel. Having comprehended all the basic spatial models, Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules had reached new heights, and his perception of space had developed its own uniqueness. That's how it should be. My 7th stage martial Tao should be like this. My path is complete. Lin Yuan was vibrant with sufficient comprehension of space. The derivation of the 7th stage martial Tao chapter was almost natural. Just an hour later, Lin Yuan had derived the initial part of the 7th rank chapter. Let's break through now, he said. Lin Yuan did not hesitate much. He had already experienced advancing to the 7th rank, and with such a high understanding of space and the aid of his against heaven's understanding, breaking through to the 7th rank was almost guaranteed to succeed. Begin. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. The breath within his body suddenly began to gather slowly. Chikuan Main Star. Above, 10 million kilometers away, a space slightly twisted. Chikuan Star Lord, dressed in a crimson robe and with his hands clasped behind his back, stood there quietly. Not far away, 12 figures stood in succession. It was the 12 peak masters of Chikuan Star Lord. Aside from the junior disciple Lin Yuan, all 12 peak masters had appeared here, standing respectfully. Everyone is here. Chikuin Star Lord glanced over the 12 disciples. Now, let me demonstrate for you just many applications of space rules, Chikuin Star Lord said indifferently. Although the virtual world can almost perfectly replicate everything from the outside world, it still cannot perfectly replicate space rules. Thus, every once in a while, Chikuin Star Lord would gather all his disciples under the outer space, personally demonstrating the use of the power of space. Teacher, the junior disciple has not yet arrived. At this moment, the fourth peak master's Wagyu couldn't help but speak. He had looked around for a long time and noticed that only the 12 of them were present. The junior disciple Lin Yuan was not there. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5th, 6th, and 7th peak masters also looked towards Chikuin Star Lord. They had also noticed this issue, but they didn't dare to ask since Chikuin Star Lord had not mentioned it. The junior disciple? Chikuin Star Lord glanced at the 4th peak masters Wagyu and the other peak masters who were still at the 6th rank. The teachings they now received, Lin Yuan had essentially already comprehended. The last time he demonstrated the space model, Chikuin Star Lord noticed Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules. Therefore, he did not specifically call Lin Yuan this time, mainly wanting to save some face for 9th peak masters like the 4th peak master. The thought of being surpassed by the youngest disciple after so many years of being a disciple, Chikuin Star Lord thought about it and found it to be quite normal. After all, given the talents displayed by Lin Yuan, surpassing from the 4th peak master to the 12th wasn't the issue. It was just a matter of time. All right, enough talk. Chikuin Star Lord didn't bother to explain. Next, I will try to materialize the space rules as much as possible. You all try your best to break through them. Having said this, Chikuin Star Lord's figure disappeared from the spot. This scene made the 12 peak masters on the scene tense. Even the great peak masters, who had long entered the 7th rank, had serious expressions. The materialization of space rules mentioned by Chikuin Star Lord was definitely not a trivial matter. The next moment, the 12 peak masters found that the space around them began to twist. Their own figures became smaller and smaller, almost turning into mesons. Above everyone's heads, a massive entity appeared. It was a starry sky wanderer Kuin, whose size was tens to hundreds of times that of a normal life planet. Under the condition that the 12 peak masters' figures were turned into mesons, the starry sky wanderer Kuin seemed even more like a splendid starry river, towering above and looking down at everyone. We can't go on like this. The 12 peak masters trembled in spirit, realizing that if they didn't resist, their mental states would be destroyed, and then they would definitely be scolded by the teacher again. Thus, the 12 exerted their fullest strength in an explosion, seeking to resist the starry sky wanderer Kuin that seemed to crush down like the heavens. But the next moment, there was no longer a starry sky wanderer Kuin that resembled a splendid starry river between heaven and earth. The 12 peak masters' figures also returned to normal, and the twisted space quickly calmed down. However, the 12 peak masters did not dare to relax, because, unknown to them, their teacher Chikuin Star Lord had already come by their side, standing behind everyone, looking down at the Chikuin main star below, as if observing someone. The great peak master, also at the 7th rank peak, likewise noticed something. Is this the aura of breaking through to the 7th rank? Junior disciple. Is junior disciple breaking through to the 7th rank? The great peak master muttered to himself, yet his voice rang in every peak master's ear. Breaking through to the 7th rank? 4th peak masters Wagyu stared, dumbfounded and incredulous. Chikuin Star Lord glanced at the 4th peak master's Wagyu and then at the other peak masters, as if to say, "See? Now do you understand why I didn't call your junior disciple over?" The 12 peak masters were utterly bewildered. Chapter 310. Which peak master has advanced to the 7th rank? Is the junior disciple about to break through to the 7th rank? This was the first thought that surfaced in the minds of the 12 peak masters. An evolver breaking through a great realm is like a pebble falling into water, creating ripples. Ordinary people or weaker evolvers might not notice. But it can't be hidden from 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers. When Lin Yuan first stepped into the 6th rank on Kanglin's star, the noise of his breakthrough was captured by the great senior brother and the demon rat clan monarch. Thus, the 12 peak masters instantly felt the aura of a breakthrough to the 7th rank emanating from Chikuan main star. And they confirmed that the aura of the breakthrough originated from the 13 peaks. From this, they concluded that the junior disciple was breaking through. How much time has passed? This was the second thought that emerged in the minds of the 12 peak masters. Advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank is no easy matter. This is a major threshold, a major constraint. Peak masters 4 through 12 are still trapped at the peak of the 6th rank. One can see the difficulty in this. In the minds of these 9 6th rank peak masters, Lin Yuan had terrifying potential and indeed had a better chance than them of entering the 7th rank in the future. But that would require time, right? How long has it been since Lin Yuan broke through the 6th rank? This is simply unreasonable. Junior disciple? The great peak master blinked his eyes. Not long ago, one of his avatars personally guarded Kanglin's star and witnessed the entire process of Lin Yuan's advancement to the 6th rank. What the great peak master did not expect, however, was that he would witness his junior disciple advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank today. Teacher, did you already know the junior disciple was about to break through? 4th peak master's Wagu swallowed nervously and asked cautiously. This time, the Chikuan Star Lord specifically called them out, not disturbing Lin Yuan, which now seemed quite prescient. Perhaps he already knew something. Naturally, the Chikuan Star Lord glanced at his several disciples. Previously, Lin Yuan had consulted him about the basic space models, and the Chikuan Star Lord realized that Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules was terrifyingly high, not at all like an evolver who had just entered the 6th rank. Such high comprehension of space meant that Lin Yuan's realm far exceeded the 6th rank, plus as a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage with an unlimited supply of Scarlet Spirit liquid. There was no need to slowly accumulate energy. Under many factors, the Chikuan Star Lord felt that Lin Yuan advancing to the 7th rank was completely to be expected. Only, even the Chikuan Star Lord did not expect that Lin Yuan would choose to break through so quickly, not continue to accumulate, or consult him about the details of advancing to the 7th rank. Of course, although the Chikuan Star Lord hadn't interacted much with Lin Yuan, based on his understanding of Lin Yuan, he knew his junior disciple was steady-minded and would not act without assurance. Even when suppressed by the Heiyu family in the past, he hadn't revealed his identity. Now that he has chosen to break through to the 7th rank, he surely has ample confidence. What is this cultivation speed of the junior disciple? I'm still rotating in the 6th rank, and the junior disciple has reached the 7th rank? Isn't the junior disciple still under 30? A 7th rank at 30. When I was 30, I was still playing around in the 4th and 5th ranks. After regaining their composure, the 12 peak masters spoke in astonished tones and quickly started discussing. The stronger the strength, the more they could understand how terrifying Lin Yuan's cultivation speed truly was. In the long history of the Chikuan Star Domain and even the entire Anan Star Alliance, there had been 7th rank evolvers under 30. But most of these evolvers had many opportunities and had entered the 6th rank very early, spending 10 to nearly 20 years before breaking through to the 7th rank. To advance like Lin Yuan, entering the 6th rank less than 2 years ago and then advancing to the 7th rank, there probably aren't many such instances in the entire history of human civilization, are there? Currently, in the overt records of the Human Civilization Alliance, among evolvers who reached the 7th rank before 30, 10% remain at the 7th rank, 20% die in various accidents, and 70% reach the 8th rank, which means, as long as the junior disciple doesn't die, reaching the 8th rank is almost inevitable. Second senior brother muttered to himself, still somewhat in disbelief. Setting aside other factors, just this terrifying cultivation speed alone will ensure Lin Yuan a prominent place in the annals of human civilization. In the future, even millions or tens of millions of years later, when evolvers mention a 7th rank under the age of 30, Lin Yuan will undoubtedly be cited. Such a brilliant and outstanding evolver, and he's actually their junior disciple? All right, Enough talking. Just watch carefully and feel. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.